They believe secrets never stay hidden, especially on reality television. And now the streets are filled with so many wild whispers that the cast of Love and Hip Hop appears shaken. Word is spreading quickly that Kendra Robinson may have recently dropped the kind of footage that drives publicists out of business and fractures marriages. According to stories circulating behind the scenes, Kendra apparently obtained a hotel security video. In it, a woman claiming to be Kirk Frost's assistant is shown, bolted from his hotel room in the early morning hours, untidy and scared, as if she had seen a ghost or worse, Rasheeda pull up. This is where things get real, messy. This supposed the footage did not merely stay on Kendra's camera roll. It allegedly reached VH1 producers. According to sources, Kendra revealed it to Rasheeda while filming. What happens next? Rasheeda went off set. There are no cameras, no scripts, and no explanations, just pure feeling. Fans are left wondering what else is hidden underneath Frost's brand image. So, what exactly transpired in that hotel room? And why is Kendra choosing now to let this bomb go off? Stay locked in. We are breaking down everything that is said. The tension on site had been building for several weeks. People close to production had noticed Kendra acting differently, more calm and calculated. She wasn't lashing out like before, crying in front of the camera, or applauding back during group situations. Instead, she was watching, listening, and according to sources, collecting information, collecting receipts, and gathering footage that alters narratives. Nobody expected her to strike while the cameras were filming and everyone's guard was down. They claim it began during a tape at a studio lounge in Atlanta, where the majority of the group had congregated for what was intended to be a relaxed shoot. A quick check-in scenario with Jock, Rasheeda, Kirk, and a few more. Everything was going fine until Kendra strolled in carrying her phone like she had something to say. She didn't sit down or smile. She just stood there. Joke stared at her and laughed nervously, as if he knew something was about to go wrong. Kirk seemed perplexed. Rasheeda went stone cold. Their gazes locked for a brief period. Kendra did not waste time. She stared straight at Rasheeda and said, real calm, "Are you sure you want to keep protecting him?" The room went quiet. Even the producers froze. Kirk tried to laugh it off, murmuring something about not causing extra drama, but Kendra did not flinch. She turned towards the crew and stated, "Can y'all play something for me real quick?" The sound technician hesitated, but it turned out she had already submitted the file to the producers earlier that morning. It was queued and ready. Within seconds, the video began playing. They used a monitor for playback. It was shaky CCTV footage from a hotel hallway, time-stamped around 3 weeks ago. The video showed Kirk walking down a hallway late at night with a woman who appeared quite familiar. The lighting wasn't perfect, but her walk, hair, and big hoodie with the Frost emblem revealed her identity. It was Kirk's helper, the one Rasheeda had introduced during season 12, the one who always remained in the background. Never, she said, a lot, but she always seemed a little too at ease around Kirk. Kirk and the helper enter the hotel room, and the door closes. Time travels onward. Around 6 in the morning, the door flies open again. This time, it's only the helper. She's barefoot, grasping her heels with one hand, and her pocketbook is tumbling off her shoulder. She appears worried, as if she is running late or fleeing from something. Her wig is sliding, and she is pushing her sweatshirt up to conceal her face. She disappears down the hall, and the video cuts. Back on set, no one said anything. Kirk's cheeks flushed red. Joke moved uncomfortably in his chair. Rasheeda appeared to be holding her breath. The silence seemed thick and heavy, like if it carried weight. Rasheeda finally stood up. She didn't screamed instead of crying. She simply looked at Kirk and stated, "You said you were in Miami for a meeting." Kirk stammered, attempting to explain something about it being taken out of context, but the damage had already been done. Rasheeda stormed off the scene, leaving everyone surprised. Kirk followed her, but not before snapping at Kendra. "You didn't have to do it like that," he said, attempting to remain composed. Kendra responded, "No, I didn't, but I wanted to." "Make sure you didn't lie to her face again." Jock remained behind, scratching his face as if he had a headache. He knew things were going to become messy, and he right. That footage did not remain hidden for long. Someone on the set leaked it within 24 hours. It began to circulate in group conversations before making its way to a site the next morning. Within hours, viewers were scrutinizing each frame. Was the assistant actually running? Was Kirk shirtless in that brief moment when the door opened? What was the Frost logo hoodie doing on her when it was part of the Frost family's private merchandise release? The internet erupted. Rasheeda did not respond to the footage at first, but she unfollowed Kirk on Instagram the following day. Fans took notice quickly. Within 2 days, she had erased several recent posts that mentioned him. Brand transactions involving the Frost couple began to dwindle. One hair care sponsor halted their advertising completely. The Frost empire was shaking. Kirk attempted to straighten up the narrative. He shared a vague Instagram story about betrayal, forgiveness, and not believing everything you see. It did not help. The comments were savage. People were tagging Kendra and begging for the complete footage. Others begged Rasheeda to speak up, go away, and stop shielding someone who obviously did not respect her. The assistant's quiet, however, was what truly got fans' attention. She did not publish anything, defend herself, or dispute it. Her site became private, and insiders said she had stopped showing up for work. Some claimed she suffered a breakdown. Others said she was being bribed to keep quiet. Kendra was also quiet, too quiet. People started asking how Kendra obtained the footage. That's when the second shocking revelation occurred. A close friend of Kendra's told a website that she didn't just happen upon it. She was tipped off. When Kirk and the assistant checked in, it seemed that a hotel employee who enjoyed love and hip-hop recognized them. She had already realized something was wrong. When she noticed Kendra's recent posts criticizing the Frost family, she contacted out anonymously. She claimed she did not desire money. She only wanted the truth to come out. Kendra didn't answer right away, but when she saw Kirk and Rasheeda back on camera, acting as if everything was okay, she decided it was time. She obtained the film, verified the time and date, and examined the assistant's location tags from that weekend. Everything was lined up, and she waited. She waited for the appropriate time to drop it, and she chose the taping. After the footage became public, numerous cast members began to distance themselves from Kirk. Even Jock, who has always supported his friend and appeared uncomfortable in the following scene with him. He warned producers off camera that Kirk needs to take care of his own residents before attempting to appear to be in charge of everything. As for Rasheeda, refused to film with Kirk for 2 weeks. The fallout was immense. Fan pages conducted polls to determine whether Rasheeda should leave him. Kirk was called out on blogs for being filthy and impolite. Kendra was praised for finally speaking up. Fans who had previously criticized her for being too meek now describe her as the most genuine member of the cast. And she didn't say anything, publish, or gloat. She simply let the footage speak for itself. Behind the scenes, however, everyone knew this was far from over. Not even close. The morning after the video was leaked, the complete cast group discussion was chaotic. Cast members were messaging nonstop, some wondering if it was true and others demanding to know who submitted it to the blogs. Producers were racing to control the story, but it was too late. The story had taken on its own life. Kendra had not spoken publicly, but her silence was more powerful than anything Kirk or Rasheeda had said in their defense. Meanwhile, fans flooded the comment sections of each cast member's site, asking for reactions, confirmations, and other information. Rasheeda had not returned home when the footage aired. Insiders reported she went directly to her mother's house and shut off her phone for the next 24 hours. Kirk, on the other side, allegedly blew up her phone, left voice messages, sent texts, and even attempted to reach her through common friends. The embarrassment was too intense. He wasn't only caught cheating. He was trapped in a situation that left no space for deception. The assistant fleeing the room, the hoodie, the time-stamped footage, it all screamed guilt. Rasheeda, for once, wasn't trying to fix it. Kirk panicked, but Kendra stayed cool. She arrived for her scheduled taping with a full face of makeup, her hair down, and not a single crack in her voice. When producers inquired whether she had any more to contribute, I think people are starting to see what I've seen all along. That was enough to shake everyone in the room. Jot paid special attention to her. His typical silly energy was gone. Instead, he appeared to be a man who was aware that his entire foundation may disintegrate as well. Later that week, production set up a private scene between Kendra and Joe's at a small midtown restaurant. The cameras rolled silently, hoping to capture an emotional moment. Kendra sat across from him, gently stirring her beverage. Joseph appeared nervous. He started off softly. I asked her if she was okay. She nodded. Then, without looking up, she inquired, "How long have you known?" He froze, didn't respond straight away. Finally, he added, "I didn't know for sure. I just had a feeling something was off." Kendra looked at him for a long time. "You and Kirk have been buddies for more than 10 years. She responded, "You're telling me he never slipped, never bragged, never let anything slip about her?" Joke was not lying. He admitted that Kirk had mentioned the assistant before, but not specifically. He said it was always small things, like overly detailed praises, vacations that didn't make sense, and appointments that didn't fit into the itinerary. "I didn't think it was serious," he explained. "I suspected he was just being Kirk." Kendra leaned back and stated, "Being Kirk is the problem." After the scene aired, viewers chastised Jock for not informing his wife sooner. The assistant's first public appearance, however, sparked outrage on social media. She did not post a message or go live. She recently shared an Instagram story, including an old selfie taken inside the same hotel where the footage was taped. She captioned it, "You are only sorry because you got caught." Within minutes, the story was widely shared. Fans zoomed closer, noticing she was wearing the same hoodie as in the surveillance video. It was petty and bold, and it was undeniable. The assistant wasn't hiding anymore. If anything, it appeared that she was ready for her moment. The bloggers gobbled it up. One website even featured a side-by-side comparison, a comparison between her departing film with the selfie. One of them was said to be a junior producer who helped organize Kirk's transportation that weekend. The other is a cosmetics artist who has worked with both Rasheeda and assistant. The further people looked, the messier things became, and fans couldn't get more. Interviews started showing up. Podcasts invited former VH1 employees to reveal behind-the-scenes truths. Everyone I wanted to discover how this footage came out, how long it had been hidden, and how many people were actually engaged. Some thought that Kendra had planned the release for months. Others assumed it was a last-minute decision following a heated argument with Jock. But whatever the cause, she had altered the game. Kendra did not need to yell. She did not need to struggle. All she did was press play. That was enough to put the entire franchise into a tailspin. The tape revealed not only Kirk's mess, but also the flaws in every relationship around him. Rasheeda's silence, Jock's reluctance, and his arrogant reply. All of the assistants spoke more than words could, and fans were beginning to take sides. Some fans rallied behind Kendra, referring to her as the show's realist. Other people defended Rasheeda, claiming she did not deserve to be humiliated, and a tiny but noisy faction insisted the whole affair was really another VH1 setup. But one thing was certain, it was either real or fake. The damage was done. Reputations were shifting, relationships were dissolving, and the Frost brand, once synonymous with love and hip-hop loyalty, was suddenly at the center of an unexpected scandal. Or perhaps they did. Perhaps everyone just looked the other way, until Kendra made it clear they couldn't anymore. The situation continued to escalate throughout the course of the days. It grew deeper. Fans were scrutinizing every detail, comparing old clips that Rasheeda defended Kirk in new sequences, when her silence spoke louder than any prepared debate. Kendra's role in the commotion was being discussed everywhere. Was she bitter? Was she brilliant? Or was she just finished being quiet? The cast had not talked publicly, but the vibe on site had dramatically changed. People were not conversing in the same way. They were not making the same jokes. Eyes lingered longer. Trust was gone. Production attempted to regroup by scheduling an obligatory cast meeting at a rented home outside Atlanta. They claimed it was for a healing circle, but everyone understood what it truly meant. It was a cleanup session. The aim was to get everyone together for a sit-down to try to make things right for the cameras. But when Kendra walked in, you could feel the room tense. She was not present to heal. She was there to finish what she'd started. Rasheeda also showed up, dressed all black, with large sunglasses and no makeup. Her body language conveyed everything. She didn't want to be there, but she wasn't going to let Kendra dominate the narrative. Kirk was already sitting, looking fatigued and considerably older than he had a week earlier. Jug sat at the back, tapping uncomfortably on his chair's armrest. Kendra went in and didn't look at Kirk. She locked eyes with Rasheeda, and for the first, they chatted after the footage leaked. "You should have told me," Rasheeda remarked. Her voice did not crack. She was not emotional, just chilly. Kendra tilted her head. "Told you what? That your spouse lied again? Or that your assistant wasn't simply your assistant?" The room was silent. Rasheeda removed her sunglasses. Her eyes were tired. "I would have handled it differently in private, but now you've created a mess and dragged me into it." Kendra didn't flinch. "You're the husband pulled you, and I just showed you the route he traveled." That was the moment everything shattered. Kirk rose up and tried to cut in, saying that they all needed to stop feeding into drama and look at the big picture. But no one was Rasheeda to lean forward and ask the only question that hadn't been posed directly on camera yet. "Why now?" Kendra blinked slowly and responded quietly. "Because I was tired of protecting people who wouldn't protect me. Because y'all muttered about me, judged me, told Jock I was frigid, that I wasn't wife material. Yet while you were saying that, your spouse was lying down with the girl who replaced your lash adhesive." Gasps rippled through the room, and even production didn't see that one coming. The assistant's name hadn't been stated out loud until that moment, and Kendra dropped it like a stone. Despite the producer's attempts to stop her, she slipped a folder over the table, containing texts, call logs, and images. Kirk appeared to be about to erupt as he snapped, "This ain't how we do things." Kendra grinned. "Then maybe you should have kept out of hotel rooms you weren't supposed to be in." Rasheeda stood up and walked out again, but this time she didn't return. Juck followed her out a few minutes later. He approached her beside the van, visibly torn, and tried to calm her down. "She's doing all this to hurt me," he said. "This is about us, not you." Rasheeda turned. "No, Jock, turn around gently. This stopped being about you when you viewed that movie." But this time, the footage didn't lie, and neither did the quiet of the others around him. Jock, in the meantime, found himself in an impossible situation. He loved Kendra. Kirk was like a brother to Rasheeda, but when the dust settled, he recognized that being neutral meant being complicit. During a private call with producers, he stated that he wished he had said something more, but he was afraid of losing his friend, his reputation, and his wife. And now he might lose it all. Nonetheless, the assistant never spoke on camera again. She vanished from the program, from social media, from everything. Some claimed she moved back. Others claimed Kirk bribed her to remain silent, and some insiders even claimed Rasheeda handed her hush money to make the news disappear faster. However, no one could prove this. And honestly, no one really cared anymore. The damage had been done, and the person holding the power now wasn't Kirk or Rasheeda, but When filming resumed the following week, the energy was colder and sharper, with no more jokes between takes, fake hugs for the camera, or acting. Kendra, the woman they misjudged the most, was silent, precise, brutal with the truth, and for once, entirely in control. Kendra had unveiled more than just a cheating scandal. She revealed a power dynamic that had been producers requested a last group sequence to tie up the storyline, which had been simmering for years behind closed doors. About capturing the repercussions, the cast was called to a sit-down in a darkly lit lounge arranged with candles and soft music, but the tension was electrifying. Kendra entered first, dressed in a calm shade of beige, no accessories. Rasheeda entered next, still not speaking to Kirk and wearing her silence like armor, and Kirk followed, visibly nervous. She appeared to have nothing else to prove. Joke was the last to enter, his shoulders sagging, wondering where he stood in all of it anymore. The conversation began stiffly, with forced introductions and awkward eye contact. Producers attempted to stimulate the topic. Kirk cleared his throat, glanced at Rasheeda, then at Kendra, and said, "I realize I made mistakes. I admitted it, but this wasn't the way to handle it." Kendra blinked slowly. "Do you mean showing proof? Wasn't that the way?" Kirk shook his head. "Nah. Putting it out like that embarrassed everyone." Rasheeda finally spoke. "No, Kirk. You embarrassed everyone. She simply made sure we saw it." For the first time, Kirk did not argue. He simply stared at the table. Kendra leant forward gently. "I did not do this to destroy anyone. I did it because I had spent too much time being quiet while you laughed behind my back. I sat through scenarios where you guys questioned my love. loyalty, and image. Meanwhile, your man was out here creating fresh episodes without a screenplay. Joe cut and